Jake Paul, I mean, as of right now, for what he's doing, it's good for what he's doing. But once he fights a real fighter, it's going to be bad.
If that fight ends up being close,
yes,
a lot of people are going to watch that fight, right?
A lot, because I think a lot of people are going to want to see Jake Paul lose, and
100%.
Floyd Mayweather has slammed the idea of Jake Paul fighting Canelo Alvarez, saying Jake would get demolished. Mayweather claimed Jake looks good against YouTubers and non-box, but would struggle against real fighters. He believes once Jake steps into the ring with an elite boxer like Canelo, it's game over.
Have you been impressed?
But one thing I do like, he's selling it. He's selling it, and he's making good money, and he's entertaining. I like it.
Is he? And Floyd, there were many people who believe you're the most talented fighter ever. Period. So whatever you say to this question, I think is important. Are you impressed? Does he have boxing ability? Or is he just an entertainer who has a lot of fans and can promote a fight and has fought lesser opponents? Or is he actually talented?
As long as he continues to fight MMA guys and YouTubers, he's going to continue to look good and shine. But once he fights a real fighter, a real fighter that can really fight, it's not going to be that good.
Does he have the ability, with what you've seen, to continue to mold himself into somebody who can actually? He told me before his goal is to fight Canelo, so that's where his mindset is.
If you're fucked up watching me, I'm sorry. Just to let you.
Yeah, you can curse.
I apologize, but
no problem.
There's no way he get demolished. But for what he's doing, as long as they keep getting YouTubers and keep putting them in there with MMA guys.
Canelo Alvarez is known for being one of the smartest businessmen in boxing. He doesn't just take fights based on competition, he takes fights that generate massive paydays. That's why Jake Paul believes that Canelo will eventually fight, and Jake has consistently branded himself as the biggest entertainer in boxing, stating that people love watching him, whether they want to see him win or get knocked out. He believes that his ability to generate pay-per-view sales is the reason fighters like Canelo will eventually have to fight, and Jake argues that a bout between him and Canelo would be a financial success, bringing in millions of dollars for both sides.
I think it's very, very realistic. And people may think that sounds crazy, but Canelo is a smart businessman, and at the end of the day, he wants to do big fights and make, entertainment, make huge entertainment products. And my skill set is improving every single day, and that's what doing fights like this are about. Taking on real professional fighters, so that eventually I could take on tougher fighters, and I see Canelo versus Jake Paul happening in the next 24 months. It just makes so much sense, and also people forget that I'm 200 pounds, I have a size advantage. All of these things that start to add up, which make it such an interesting fight that I fully believe I'll win. There's the KSIs, the Tommy Furies, the Nate Diaz MMA fight, but I don't know if these guys actually want to put it on the line. We tried to make a Floyd fight happen. Floyd's ducked it. So I don't know if these guys really want to take a risk.
Jeff Mayweather, another respected voice in boxing, completely dismissed the idea of Jake Paul fighting Canelo Alvarez. He stated that nobody in the sport would take this matchup seriously because it's simply unrealistic. Jeff went as far as to joke that Jake Paul might as well say he wants to fight Muhammad Ali. In his opinion, Jake is living in a fantasy world, constantly calling out top-level boxers without proving himself against real competition. Jeff believes that Canelo would never accept this fight because it wouldn't be competitive at all.
All right, here with Jeff Mayweather. Jeff, appreciate taking the time. Unfortunately, the Hassan Rahman Jr. Jake Paul fight has been canceled. Jake said something very interesting, though. He said that the big fight out there right now is Canelo, and he said, hey, Canelo can be beat. Bivol gave the blueprint, and I'm just like Bivol. I have the same powers, similar attributes, speed, elusiveness. He's basically I don't want to say carbon copy, but he's very similar to Bivol, so he would match up favorably with Canelo. Hard to argue. He's undefeated so far, and boxers are ducking him. What do you think?
Maybe. Why don't he fight people all day? Canelo's already fighting somebody.
Yeah,
Triple G.
Canelo's the money, right?
Not anymore.
He's more money than Bivol.
Probably more money.
Especially if he beat Triple G.
Yeah, he's still probably more money than him. But when you get to that, I mean, nobody is gonna take that serious. I mean, you can say all you want to. I mean, you can say you can fight Muhammad Ali. You can say you can fight whoever. I mean, ain't nobody taking that serious.
But why not? Canelo wants money fights. Jake is, it's pretty undeniable. He's the hottest prospect in boxing right now. He's undefeated. He's also one of the biggest draws in boxing. So why would that not be a fight to make? Or do you think that's something Canelo figures that's, it would look bad if he didn't come through positively in the
I
fight?
think that it's a fight that Jake is just yelling just to make himself look like he's legitimate. But of course, he has a coach that would never let him fight Canelo.
You wouldn't favor him in that fight against Canelo?
Post discussed the topic on Ariel Helwani's podcast, reinforcing that Jake Paul versus Canelo Alvarez is not happening. They bluntly stated that there is no world where this fight can take place. It's not just unlikely, it's impossible.
Influencer versus pound for pound great being the hang up in the fight, being the one that stops the momentum. Because it's not happening. There is no world. Okay, then let me ask you this. Struck by lightning right now if this is possible.
Lightning bet.
If this happens, it's just no way. There is no way.
Wait. If what happens? If the fight happens, or if the upset of the century happens?
If Jake Paul derails Terrence Crawford versus Canelo by beating Canelo,
then you put Jake Paul versus Terrence Crawford.
Zero. Okay, let me ask you this: if that fight ends up being close,
yes,
a lot of people are going to watch that fight, right?
A lot, because I think a lot of people are going to want to see Jake Paul lose. And
100%. But Canelo's going to do this. Canelo would do this. And let's backtrack to your first question, which is interest. I'm very interested because, as I've long said, I'm on this corner. I only care about Jake Paul in spectacles. It would be an absolute spectacle to see a pound for pound. First, he did Mike Tyson, and I'm not going all the way back, but I'm saying in his most recent outing, Mike Tyson, an all-time legend, a pop culture icon, versus Jake Paul, was a spectacle. Now you're going the opposite direction to nearly in his prime. We'll say maybe like he's on the back nine, but he's still close to his prime. He's still a top 5 pound for pound on pretty much anybody's list fighter. Going against Jake Paul, I'm in for the spectacle. I'm in. I don't think Jake Paul has a chance in hell, but I'm in for the spectacle.
And how long has he been beating the drum on that? He's been saying he's going to do this forever.
Listen, let's see what happens.
Like credit to him.
I believe Jake is living in a fantasy if he thinks he can step into the ring with Canelo. Former world champion Carl Fr. also weighed in on the discussion, warning that if this fight actually happens, things will get messy. Fr. has been a vocal critic of Jake Paul's boxing career, and he strongly believes that Jake is not skilled enough to share a ring with someone like Canelo. Fr. stated that Jake would get completely outclassed and potentially hurt. He emphasized that Canelo is a ruthless fighter who doesn't take it easy on his opponents. If Jake gets in the ring with Canelo, he won't just lose, he will get seriously exposed.
He mentioned me before, and other people out there saying, Carl talking about himself, he's after a payday. Listen, I'm not after a payday. I'm doing all right. There's no problems with my finances. But I'll take the fucking payday, of course I will. And I'll end Jake Paul with one punch. I'm going there one-armed and beat this guy. He can't box. He's absolutely fucking useless, which we saw last night with Mike Tyson. Talking about Canelo Alvarez. I've not mentioned Canelo Alvarez. It's just laughable. Jake Paul, Canelo Alvarez. Can you imagine? I mean, Jake Paul fancies that and he jumps in the ring with him. I will pay homage to him because fair play. If he jumps in there with Canelo Alvarez, he'll get absolutely fucking destroyed. And it would be fast, it would be messy. And it would be bad for his health as well.
Despite the overwhelming doubt from boxing analysts, Jake Paul's trainer has hinted that an official announcement regarding Jake versus Canelo is coming real soon. This statement has fueled speculation that the fight may actually happen, even though most people believe it would be a mismatch. Some fans think Jake is bluffing to generate media attention, while others believe there may be some truth to the rumors. Either way, his trainer's comments have added fuel to the fire.
Who could be fighting next?
I can't give you the insight. I can't give you the insight. Just know that announcement coming real soon. Real soon.
Let me ask you a question then. Obviously, you're not going to tell me. You keep moving.
Paul versus Canelo Alvarez is expected to happen in May. Then Jake simply will not have enough time to prepare. Boxing experts have pointed out that Jake needs months of preparation just to get into the proper weight class and condition himself for a fight against someone like Canelo. Given the timeline, it seems highly unlikely that Jake will be ready to face a fighter of Canelo's level by May. Even if the fight were scheduled later in the year, Many believe Jake wouldn't be able to close the massive skill gap between him and Canelo regardless of how much time he has.
You said that you'd like to go up against Canelo Alvarez. What gives you the right to call out a 59-2 boxer, one of the greatest of all time, when you've not yet proven yourself?
I'm predicting what's going to happen three more years from now.
So
I'm going to get to his skill level and beat him. I have one of the greatest self-belief systems in the world, and I know what I'm capable of. And with this new team, I can give Canelo serious for his money.
Would you ever do like exhibitions like that, or like people like Jake Paul call you out, or these like other big stars? Like, is that business wise like even worth it?
When I'm done with boxing, why not? Maybe I do it. I think it's
like when you're done like competing at the highest level. You're saying?
Yeah, I think it's good because what happened there is other people who never watch boxing, or they don't know anything about boxing. They wanna watch Jake Paul because he's coming from he bring fans from other world. Right? That's good because everybody enjoy it.
Would you ever entertain that idea when you're done?
Maybe.
Most boxing analysts agree that if this fight happens, it won't last very long. Many believe that Canelo would knock Jake out in the first round. Jake is trying to step into the ring with one of the greatest boxers in the sport, and the consensus is that he simply isn't ready for that kind of challenge. If the fight does happen, fans should not expect it to go past the opening rounds.
Do you have a call out in mind, or are you kind of just going to see where it takes?
No, I mean, I do. It's Canelo. This moment will prove that I'm the face of boxing, the largest attraction. Me versus Canelo at 200 pounds for the cruiserweight championship is the biggest fight, arguably even bigger than me versus Tyson, and it makes so much sense. And, you know, Canelo's on his way out. He's going to want a payday, and I want to show the world that all the shit I've been talking about beating Canelo is actually true, and I'll have the biggest upset in the sport of boxing, and we will fight to really see who is the face. After this event, I'm going to be claiming it. I beat his gate record. So I'm beating the ticket sales, all of that stuff. So I'm going to be the new one.